Coach, it would not be uncommon to shake things up a little bit when you're in a tailspin. I wonder if you have any plans to change the lineup or the way you approach pregame or the first few minutes of a game or anything like that.
Well, Matt is back and will likely start tomorrow, so that not necessarily be, because of any other reason other than he's the starter. Yeah, I think it's something that we talked about, John. I mean, the main conclusion is that we want to just get better at the things that we do and the things that have defined us. And so we've had our turnover numbers aren't outrageously bad, but our first half turnover numbers are high. We've had some critical turnovers. Our defensive numbers are good, but need to probably be just get a little bit more consistent. The starts and getting behind is something we're trying to figure out and try. We've pressed in the first half here in the last couple of games to try to jumpstart us, and the beginning of the game against William & Mary was not. I think it was a tie game midway through. It was really the end of the first half, but these deficits that are pretty large. I can't necessarily explain it, and we're doing everything we can to make sure we go over each situation during the course of games to make sure that one mistake doesn't lead to another, to make sure that we cut down on live ball turnovers, don't miss something on the scouting report, whatever it is. But I think the biggest thing is really just trying to double down on what we're good at, what we practice, the things that we've traditionally been good at, and have those hopefully get better and better and better.
You mentioned Matt. What do you hope comes from a fifth-year player who has a lot of experience like Matt in terms of leadership on court and off court?
Yeah, well, each guy who becomes who gets into the leadership role, mostly because of experience and age and ability. They have different personalities, and so the kind of leader that Kendall Anthony was, is far different from how Grant Golden was and Kevin Anderson. And so Matt is incredibly steady. He's a terrific player, and where his leadership is making sure that we're calm and we don't overreact to things, and we continue to to execute the next time down, whatever the case may be. And so while I do think he's more than willing to speak and talk and help guys out, I think mostly comes from how he plays and how he views the game, and therefore the more he's out there, the more impact that has across the board. And so I thought he played it. I'm not sure how many minutes he played against William & Mary. I thought he played great. And we certainly will be fortunate to have him back.
Share your thoughts, if you would, on Drake and DeVries. Preseason Conference Player of the Year, and lighting it up so far.
Yeah, he's great. 6'7", can really shoot the ball. Has obviously a green light, but he ought to have a green light because he can make a ton of shots. He's a difficult matchup problem because he's so aggressive. He's very, very strong and can shoot from very deep. So, it'll be obviously the most important thing for us is being aware of him and guarding him as hard as we can and giving as much attention to him as we can.
Thank you.
Yep.
Aside from him, he's a sophomore, I think, right?
Yes.
Do they remind you a little of Richmond last year? I mean, they got a couple 25-year-old guys. Yeah. They got 3,000-point score. They got 8. A little comparison there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think their experience and they've also been very successful the last few years. I think 2 years ago they were in the NCAA tournament, right? 25 wins, and last year they won a whole bunch of games. They do. I mean, Penn is a really good player who's played a lot of college basketball, and they have experience, and they're very comfortable in how they play and how they try to attack the other team and how they defend. So it does to a certain degree, and I think there are more and more teams. There aren't as many teams that have had guys in their own program like we did or like they do, but older teams are more the norm now.
True.
Are you concerned coming off exam break, or are you hoping and believing that there's more energy there because of the rest?
Yeah, I think it's, we really try to keep a good eye on our guys and try not to have them have too much to do toward the end, but it does seem that that's often how it turns out. No, I'm hoping that the rest, and not just the rest, but the time that we've been able to be on the court, while we're not young, we need to continue to practice and to try to fine-tune ourselves. And so I think that is very valuable. But I'm always, there's always a concern around finals week or the 10 days of finals, because it is taxing, and there are papers and late nights and things like that. But I'm hoping that the rest and the home game is more rejuvenates us more than the finals have taken anything out of us.
What would you like to see from Tyler on Saturday?
Just to play. I think that, for someone in his position, this is really, he's handling it incredibly well. But this is very taxing. You have a lot of eyes on you, a lot of evaluations, not fans, obviously, but like real people who matter. And, and you have to weigh those things, whether, it be your percentages or your points or your output. And really, everybody knows you should just block that out and play, but it becomes harder and harder and harder when you're in position. I think he's handled it incredibly well. My feeling is that his best asset is his rebounding. And I think that that's what he should try to do, is each game try to get 12 rebounds, because rebounding is something that he reacts to and is instinctive, and he just goes and gets the ball when he can. He can get the ball seemingly from anywhere. So that if you do that, then you're in a state of mind where you're just playing and you're following your instincts, because there's so much that could pull him away from his instincts. Just thinking about what happened the last play, what was the result of it, how would that be viewed, and I think if you're lost in the game, you're just playing instinctively. And for him, the best thing he does is rebound. And I think if that shows up, then that means he's playing that way.
Do you see in moments of the game, I guess maybe he's still adjusting to being the number one option? Because at points last year he was, but now this is his team.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, yes, I think that's not an easy thing to do either. It's easier to do as a point guard because, you bring the ball up, you've had the ball for, the half the possession already, and when you're the forward, you have to get the ball. You have to do certain things to get the ball. So I don't think it's easy, but I think he's done well, and he's certainly been, unfortunately we've had these deficits, but Tyler's certainly been the most important figure in these comebacks that we've had, which are they're impressive. Unfortunate that we've needed them, but he's certainly been the focal point in those, which has showed his greatness and his abilities. So, really, I do think there's more on him than any player we've had, especially in today's world of analysis and advanced statistics and things like that. And so I think he just needs to play, and I think that's my main job with Tyler. Just try to get him to play and enjoy it. And now again, he's an incredible person who cares about Richmond and the team. So just to try to reinforce that for him.
We talked about this the other night, I think. Is that that instinct message? Is that something you're giving to some of the new guys? As they got to learn the plays, they got to learn all of that, but just play with your instinct? Yeah,
for sure. I think that's been something, since we've been here as a guy, kind of gets through his freshman year and is learning. And I think it's a lot, we, as coaches, we say a lot, trust your instincts. And, I think for the new guys, they have good instincts. They have to, it's an easier learning curve for them than a freshman, but it's still a learning curve. And then, I think just trust your instincts. Just try to be as instinctual as possible, because we feel like how we play is built around good instincts, so that if you have, TJ Klein, he didn't know the offense for the first year, but his instincts were so good that became the offense. And so I feel like, I do feel like, if you once you're good enough and once you're, your effort's there and your skill level's there, then just trust your instincts. And then there are no mistakes, because there's going to be an aggressive play and something that everybody else can read and react to.
Matt, thank you for coming. In your role as a leader on this team, fifth-year guy, how do you address your younger teammates as you go through sort of a scuffling period here?
I mean, the biggest thing is really just staying positive through all of this, and we're lucky because a lot of these young guys kind of got to sit through it last year when we were kind of in a similar position after the Bahamas when we were 2-4. So that's actually something we brought up is how this thing happened to us last year, and look how that ended up. So just because we're in this rough patch doesn't mean we have to continue that way throughout the season, and we can really bounce back from it.
How are you feeling physically with the strained knee ligament? We got, 18 minutes or so at William & Mary. How did it feel afterwards, and how do you feel heading into tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. It was a little bit sore after kind of doing the first big portion of activity in a while after William & Mary, but rehab has been great with Andy. Been doing everything I can to get ready, and I think we're there now.
You have never, partially because of limited opportunity, been a big scorer here. Do you see that coming, or your role is different?
I mean, yes, I do. I've always been, like I've always said, just kind of playing my role. But I think I'm seeing, especially just kind of observing from the bench, how much if I play more aggressively, how much that could help us. How much, like if I'm looking for my own opportunities, my own scoring opportunities, that might be something that we actually need. So yes, I do think that's something that'll come.
Can I ask you to share your thoughts on working for that Spider management company and investments, and how much time you devote to it, and if it's a paid internship or a non-paid internship?
Yeah, so that is a paid internship. I was lucky enough to get the guys over at Spider Management, Will McLean, everyone over there has been super accepting and helpful of me. I spend my mornings there every day of the week, basically, just learning and gaining a lot of valuable information from a group of extremely smart individuals in the investments landscape. So that's been great, and I'm really grateful to everyone over there for allowing me to get that opportunity.
Apart from basketball aspirations, investments and finance part of your future, you hope?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, my degree was in finance from business school, working there, and then now I'm taking a lot of courses in data analytics, so something in that field is what I'm looking forward to.
Thank you.
You mentioned the scuffle, or John mentioned the scuffle you guys are going through. Do you see a common thread in the last two games for you guys to be in the scuffle?
I mean, we seem to love getting down in the first half. That's been something that's happened, especially the last two games. And I mean, that just comes with starting well, and that's just something we gotta be better at. It's nothing crazy to do, so we just have to come out of the gate a lot better.
Is that a tribute to a lot of new guys on this roster, or is it just shots not falling and other guys, other teams are taking advantage of?
Yeah, it's I guess a little bit of everything. I mean, some of it is, I guess less experienced guys, but really it's everyone. It's it seems like we need to be down in order for us to start playing aggressively, almost, and that's something we've talked about and something we got to fix.
Do you look around, or you guys look around the league at all and see what's happening? Because no one's really doing great or separating themselves from everybody else yet, that, hey, this thing is going to be there for the taking if we can get our stuff together.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely knowledge of other things going around in the A10. But yeah, we're more so focused on ourselves, but we understand that the A10 is a really good conference. It's always good. Sometimes, like us last year, we looked like we weren't going to be good with our non-conference schedule, and we ended up winning it. So we understand that that's something we can do.